gold, ability materials, gear, training materials. I have hoarded all of these, and now I will use them to build the characters and teams. I am Dogbert. I will be your guide on this journey as we try to discover if they are worth it. Hello and welcome to Worth It, where I go over a character or team and let you know the pros and cons, where they're good at, and if they're worth building at all. And today we gotta look at the newest character, Gwenpool. Now this is a character I really like and would have bought in her she was the worst character in the world, because that's how much I like this kind of character. So, Gwenpool, let's talk about her now. Let's go into her pros. She is on the faster side at 127 speed. This helps her take lots of turns very quickly and really does help us out. And she's even faster than Quicksilver. Yeah, I know. They screwed up Quicksilver. Anyway, moving on with Gwenpool. She has the second highest armor in the game currently as of making this video in patch 7.1. Only Korg has more armor than her. She is definitely a tank, a protector, whatever you want to call her. She definitely has that, and it does give her some much needed survivability. Her basic is really good. With the T4, she clears all barrier on the opposing enemy target, and if the target already had barrier, she's going to get 30% of her max health as barrier for herself, essentially maxing out her barrier, or she's going to give herself 15% if they didn't have any barrier. On top of this, she's going to give the new warriors defense up if they didn't have defense up, and defense up is very important for survivability. She's all about making the new warriors survive a lot better, especially Hoodie and Dildo, who are very fragile. And like I just said, she also gives armor to those new warrior allies, making them more tanky. 50% more armor. Characters like Goody and Dildo definitely need it. Deathpool needs it too. Those are older characters. I don't have Firestar yet, but I imagine she probably does better with the newer with more armor, because that means they take less damage. As for her cons, yes, we have cons, of course. Let's just start up. The focus is pretty low. Now, this can be set aside. I believe it is Dildo who gives her more focus. Hoodie and Dildo give resistance and focus. I can't remember which one gives which. And her resistance is also low. You're starting to see one of the other cons here that's going to come up as her dependability on the team. Her damage isn't that great, honestly. She's down in the upper 70s as far as damage stat in this game. But she is supposed to be a tank, not a damaging character, so that makes sense. Although I could see with higher star levels, higher yellow stars, higher red stars, that she could put out quite a bit more damage. But at the lower stars that we're going to have her at first, and probably for quite a while, because, you know, it might be a year or more before we can farm her, that you're going to have to take this into consideration. She does have high cooldowns on her special and ultimate. They are very high, and once we start talking a little bit more about the game mode she's good in, it kind of makes more sense why the cooldowns are so high, especially when we look at what the new warriors are originally designed for. And she is very dependent on being with her team, particularly Hoodie and Dildo. So with Hoodie and Dildo, they become more survivable. She helps them survive with that, and they help her survive a bit more because they're, you know, out there healing her with Dildo. Hoodie putting out all those debuffs, and she can be there. She's more of a character that you have to play a little bit more brains. You just can't hit the special and ultimate whenever you want to. You have to think about what you're doing and realize what you're doing, and then she's giving horseback, giving them defense up on top of that armor and everything out there. Like I said, very dependent on being with her team. I forget what Firestar gives the team. I think it's accuracy. And she is very T4 heavy. In fact, how heavy? She needs all the T4s. You need all the T4s on her to make her work. That is a T4 heavy character. So, with all this said, is Gwenpool worth it? Well, The actual honest answer is maybe. It depends on what you've already built. Do you have Hoodie and Dildo particularly built, and Deathpool built, which you gotta build Deathpool for Apocalypse anyway, then she could be worth it to you. For endgame players who are big on Cosmic Crucible, absolutely worth it, because you're going to need her. And in the end, don't worry, there'll be events where if you don't build this character, Scruply will be sure to punish you very drastically in an event that you won't be able to complete because you never built her. So keep that in mind as well. Now, I do think for newer players who are like my Whalebird account, this would actually be a useful addition to that account in raids, actually, you'll see. So, Cosmic Crucible, yeah, she's worth it. She gets all sorts of different bonuses in Cosmic Crucibles. 70% turn meter on the special, for one. She is definitely going to be outrageous in Cosmic Crucible on offense only. Don't forget, the tags are Crucible offense, meaning you put her on defense, she's not going to work the same. She's not meant for defense, she's meant for offense. Raids. This is what the New Warriors were originally designed for. Hoodie, Dildo, Deathpool were supposed to be the Mystic raid team, and you could throw in 2 other plug-and-play characters as you got them. So, are you wondering if she's good in raids? Yes, she is, if played correctly. Now, the team I used to get her through raids with her is, of course, Hoodie, Dildo, Deathpool, and Dormammu with them. And I'm able to take out Doom 3.5 Mystic Nodes quite easily with them. The key being when to use her special. Don't use her special turn 1. Especially. That makes her get taunt. Taunt bad. She die. You need her to get the barrier actually from the basic first, so she has a little bit more survivability at these low star levels to help control the fight. The other thing she does, because of her giving out the charges to a new warrior ally, aka Deathpool in this case, since you can't use Firestar in the rage because she's a mutant. But by giving Deathpool those constant charges whenever Deathpool takes a turn, Deathpool is pretty much every single node will be able to kill somebody outright with her Annihilate. Definitely charging in, plus giving it extra charges means Deathpool's giving more drain to the new warrior character, so whenever you take a turn, they're healing a bit more. You have a lot of control. You have Dormammu to help you out there too. I don't really need Dormammu. He just gives me an insurance policy of the extra life. None of the characters are dying. He just is such a good character. You want to bring him anyway. It's like I said, she is more of an endgame character. But if you're a newer player, maybe you're building up the Cloak Hoodie, you're building up Hoodie and Dildo and Deathpool. Add her in, you have a 4th member, then you can just add a 5th member, whoever you want, whether that be Morgan Le Fay, Quicksilver, or maybe you just don't have the Eternals. It's another option. Maybe you can get her because you're a newer player and you're going to get her. But just remember, you need Hoodie and Dildo with her at least. Arena? No. She doesn't do anything for the arena. She doesn't bring anything unique. She doesn't bring any kind of control. She doesn't do big damage that would make her warrant a place in the arena, so no. War, I don't think the New Warriors are that great in War right now. They're not really a War team, and I really don't give a crap about War anyway, so who gives a shit. Dark Dimension. Yes, she's quite good in Dark Dimension. If she's with Hoodie and Dildo. Again, it has to be with Hoodie and Dildo. If you want to take 3 Mystic characters into City, you'll one-shot those nodes. I did it with Squirrel Girl, Hoodie, Dildo, Gwenpool, Kingpin, in Dark Dimension 5, in the City nodes. One-shot it easily. Let me just go and show you. So this is the Dark Dimension run I was testing them in. You can see it is Hoodie and Dildo, Hoodie, Kingpin, Squirrel Girl, and Gwenpool, which I'm running as Raider. That's another story. We'll get into that in a little bit before we end this video. But you can see one shot, and one shot. So if you're looking for a team, and you have these characters, go for it. You can one-shot the nodes. It's great. Now back to the slides. So again, you just saw what I can do in Dark Dimension. With this character, she is quite good as far as that goes. So as far as my recommendation on suggested level and gear, it's actually gear 16 level 90, as long as you have built the other new warriors to go with her, particularly Hoodie, Dildo, and you got to build Deathpool anyway. So that is my recommendation there. As far as ISO goes, now this is going to depend upon star level. I think there's an argument that once we get her bigger with more stars, more red stars, that you could even make an argument for Striker on her. Now, when she does get called to assist, I was able to see this with Kingpin calling assists and everything like that, that she does do the same thing with her basic, in which she's giving herself barrier and stuff. So there is an argument to be made there to get extra barrier if she's not already maxed out, but I think she's going to be maxed out a lot. And I think her poor damage beforehand doesn't really make much of a difference. I'm right now using Raider on her. That seems to be the most logical choice, with her special and ultimate being the majority of the damage and hitting all characters. That would seem the most obvious. And there's another argument to be made that she could be a skirmisher as well, because you're going to be using that basic a lot, and that basic is only a single target. Giving her a skirmisher then would give her the option of applying a vulnerable there, guaranteed, and if they already had vulnerable, she could strip out a buff as well. And there's even another option, another argument for Fortifier, but only at the low star level, because of the survivability problem with her. She doesn't have that big of a health pool with only 3 stars, even mine at level 87 right now. Gear 16 only has like 500,000 health, so there could be an argument to be made there at low stars to put Fortifier on her just to help her survive at first. But pairing her up with Hoodie and Dildo seems to be good enough, and not using that taunt turn 1, being more strategic on when you use it, only using it when I really need a taunt or I need to flip some buffs, is a way to do it. If you're running Raider on her, if you're running Skirmisher on her, that might be the option too. There's a lot of different options you can do. Overall, she's not a horrible character, but she's also not a great character. She's more like a B level, I would say like a low B level character. She doesn't really work on her own. She really needs those especially Hoodie and Dildo, to work with her. And she does make Deathpool a lot better character within raids and whenever you can pair her up, of course, in Cosmic Crucible as well. So that wraps it up for this Worth It. And until next time, everybody,